Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Deathray here, back yet again. A second late night with the Davey. Gosh, can I talk? Sorry, just had to get my levels set here. Yeah, guys, thank you for joining me here on a Saturday night. It is just past 10 p.m. on the East Coast. And because you all were so awesome and helped us reach our super chat goal from last night, where we did that live audience tier maker ranking of all the 2025 horror films. Wow, that was a fun one. You guys were so awesome to reach that goal. So here we are, and almost half of 60 of you voted for an Ask Me Anything live stream. So I guess we'll just get right to it. I'll say hello to everybody. Of course, I mean, I always do, right? And then feel free to ask me whatever. Do you want to ask me some sort of movie question or music question, food question, this or that, whatever you got? You know, if it gets too personal, I guess I will allow myself to totally back out of it. But let me say what's up to everybody, and then we will get cruising. And let's see here. Before we really get going, though, I want to let you guys, or I want to remind you to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of these live streams or when I drop a video. For example, I dropped a top 10 horror movies of 2025 just yesterday. So yeah, just wanted to let you know about that in case you haven't seen it already. And then, yeah, let me just jump in and say what's up to you guys. Again, thank you so much for joining me here on a Saturday evening. We got Online Filthier became a YouTube member. Who is that? Is that a second Ray account? What is that? We got Gory Tiger jumping on in. And by the way, thank you, Online Filthier, for becoming a YouTube channel member. But when I see that, I'm like, oh, is that a second Ray account? Gory Tiger, what's happening? We got Paula Fitzhenry, one of our great channel members. Welcome on in, Paula. We got Linda joining us as well. The weekend is going great, Linda. I had a really awesome day at work, so I am a little exhausted. I haven't allowed myself to sleep very much lately, but it's been really, you know, life has been good, so let's just keep on chugging along. We got Princey Movies jumping on in. Prince, I'm going to star your question, and I will be back to it once, you know, after I say hello to everybody. We got Christine jumping on in. What's happening, Christine? We have our lovely Death Squad mod, Erica, our queen mod on the Discord, which, by the way, if you want to join us on Discord, you can do that by clicking the link that is pinned in the chat. It's totally free. We watch movies there. It's a lot of fun. Come on by. Don't post things that shouldn't be posted in the main chat. Don't post those things in the main chat like I sometimes do. Don't let me be an example. I am a bad example in the Discord. So listen to Erica or else. How about that? All right, who else do we have jumping on in here? We got Tia Nina, another one of our great channel members. How are you doing, Tia? Thank you so much for joining us. Let's see what else we got going here. We got a lot of fun back and forth chit-chatting. Love seeing you guys talking to each other. We got Jigsaw joining us. What's happening, Jigsaw? Hope you are doing well. Thank you so much for joining us here. You know, I've been thinking of Raymond Malaber a little bit as well, Prince, because it's like around that time of year. So definitely been thinking about him the last few weeks here. Always going to be on the YouTube membership card there, Raymond Malaber. We got CS Reviews jumping on in. What's happening? Hope you are doing well. Brad Underwood is joining us. Hope you are doing well also, Brad. We got Samantha Robinson jumping on in with a question. I will get to that here in a bit. We got Joe from Media Poop Shoot, another one of our great channel members. Hope you are doing well, Joe. We got Raggedy Man, yet another Davey Deathray YouTube channel member. How are you doing, Raggedy Man? Thank you for jumping on in. We got Nanette Blackwell, one of our great channel members, jumping on in just to say what's up. Nanette's been a YouTube channel member for 5 months. How about that? So let's celebrate a little bit of Nanette's YouTube channel membership there. We got Ray jumping on in, one of our great channel members and Death Squad mods, who is low-key playing Skyrim right now. No worries, Ray. Yeah, you enjoy your video game, miss. We got Miss Candy What's happening, Miss Candy? Hope you are doing well. Thank you so much for joining us. Joel from Dark Room Reviews. How are you doing, Joel? Holy cow, 27 people in here. Guys, make sure you hit that like button if you're hanging out. And if you have a question, just pop it into the chat. I will star it, and we will get to as many of these questions as we can. So let's see what else we got going on in here. Looks like you guys are just saying what's up to each other. Oh yeah, so Ray fucked up on renewing my membership. PayPal was being a dick, and I subbed on my music channel. Well, there you go, getting all sorts of money from Ray. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, we got Papa John Loves Trash jumping on into the stream. What's happening, Papa John? Thank you so much for being one of our great channel members. Really do appreciate you. Let's see if I just want to make sure I'm not missing any questions as well. We got Wilkie's Movies and Music. How are you doing, Corey? Thank you for joining us tonight, sir. I hope you are doing well and that 2026 is treating you and your family well. And let me know, Corey, how is I know you've got like a movie watching challenge going for yourself, watching something from your own collection that you've never seen. I know you're trying to do that. And then I think is it Hux? One of these creators does like a yearly watch list. If I remember correctly, I think that's what you got going on. Let me know how that's going, man. And great to see you, Corey. Thanks for joining us. Wayne Gotke in the chat. What's happening, Wayne? So good to see you. All right, we got Jason from Backtrack Cinema. What's happening, Jason? Always a pleasure, my guy. Hope you and your family are doing well here in 2026 as well. And we got Eli Cortez, one of our great channel members, and Death Squad mods. What's happening, Eli? Thank you for joining us here. We got Mr. Mr. Jalostotilin. I think I said that right. I think I actually got that right the second time. Hope you are doing well. Thank you so much for joining us. If this is your first time, welcome on in. You're kicking it with the Death Squad, and we're about to get to an Ask Me Anything. So if you have any questions, let me know. I will star the questions, and we will get to them here shortly. That's good to know. You're meeting your goals. I like seeing that, Corey. I like seeing that. Okay, let's go ahead and get on with it, because I think we've got a handful of questions here. Thank you again for joining me, guys. Saturday night, you guys are kicking it here with the Death Squad. I love it. Prince asks, I'll ask a question, not rapid fire, but after 3 minutes of thinking what to ask. Been binging Young Sheldon on my end. Oh, so you're waiting for a question. Okay, so I must have missed that. Okay, I see that you did end up putting in a question. Samantha Robinson says, hey, Davey, do you remember the show Degrassi? So I think there was one in the 80s, and I've definitely heard of that, and I'm more aware of that older Degrassi show. I know they rebooted it and everything. If memory serves, I think Drake was on the show. Don't ask me how I know that. I don't listen to or care for any of Drake's music, and all I know about the new Degrassi is that it exists and Drake might be in it. But I am a fan of some third wave ska music, and there is a band called Skankin' Pickle, and they have a song called I'm in Love with a Girl Named Spike, and it's all about Spike from, I believe, the original Degrassi. Could be wrong. How about you, Samantha? I'm guessing you do remember since you're asking about it. Is it worth watching? Let me know. And then Prince asks, is there a specific dish / food that doesn't always tickle your S? I don't know what my S is. Is it too personal, Prince? So a food that I don't really like, like plain ass mushrooms, like button mushrooms cooked. I'm not a fan. They just taste kind of dirty to me. Never been a fan. I've tried them numerous times since being an adult. I just can't get down with it. I'm thinking about is there a specific dish? I don't think there's a dish that really, really turns me off. I enjoy some seafood, but some of it, I have to eat it fresh. And if I don't eat it fresh, I have a weird reaction to it. However they preserve that stuff. My body doesn't get along with it. Makes my lips feel all tingly and puffy and stuff and gives me a little bit of a tummy ache. So yeah, Prince, I'll just say regular ass mushrooms. I've had chanterelles cooked and then with Frank's Red Hot on them, and they have a chicken kind of vibe at that point, but your standard kind of mushrooms you would put on pizza, not a big fan of those. Let's see here. Skank and Pickle, I haven't heard of them since high school. Yeah, I only, really I was most familiar with that song from, I think it was the Misfits of Ska, the Asian Man Records compilation. I think that's where I remember hearing that. Nanette asks how I'm doing. I'm doing great. Work was a really successful, awesome day at work. So I've been working a home show, setting appointments for, I work for a renewal by Anderson, which is a window and door replacement company. So I'm seeing some other questions here. I love these, so I'm starring them. I will get to them, guys. Let's see what else we got. Okay, there we are. Oh, the great Scrob is Scott from DC Fallout. So Scott Hallquist. How are you doing, Scott? So good to see you, man. I see your question there. Thank you so much for jumping in, man. Yeah, YouTube has been a wild ride ever since like leaving, not doing music as much. There was like a lull where I wasn't doing anything very creative, and it was just like, it was killing me. So it was nice to get into YouTube and talk about movies and all that stuff, because I'm a huge movie nerd and I'm a big horror nerd. I think the last show we played together, Scott, I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was at, oh gosh, what was that place called? And it was on Alberta in Portland, I believe. No, Division in Portland. It was called, the name is right on the tip of my tongue. Was it the Absent Minds? Like, was it low key our record release party? I think it was Absent Minds that played with you guys in DC Fallout. And for whatever reason, I can't remember that. It is right on the tip of my tongue. It has a name with an H. Oh my gosh, it is right there. I'm going to think of it during the stream, Scott. I hope you were doing well, my guy. It has been awesome to see all the success you've had playing with 10-Foot Pole and being able to produce and make records for other bands. It's really inspiring and awesome. I'm so happy for you, man. So, and I'm rooting for your brother to get his gig as mayor. Your brother's running for mayor out there in Wisconsin. I can't remember the name of the town now. So hopefully that doesn't bring any offense with it. Sometimes I get into a live stream and there's a little bit of a brain fog. What can I say? All right, let's see here. I see some other questions popping up here. Oh, tickle my fancy. Okay. All right, let's get some other questions here really quick. Favorite Rob Reiner film? I'm trying to think of like all the movies that I know for sure he did. Did he do Princess Bride? I think he directed The Princess Bride, and that's a pretty good movie. I do think Misery's pretty awesome as well. This is Spinal Tap is a fucking classic, absolutely. So I think those are all his all three of those are his movies. I really like all of those movies. He made a lot of really good movies. Let's see what else we got. Have I seen The Crow? I've seen the original Crow with Brandon Lee. I have not seen the Bill Skarsgård version. And I don't think I've seen any of the sequels. So just the original Crow, banger of a soundtrack, by the way. But yeah, just the original one, and that's it. Do I believe in Bigfoot? It's weird. I lived in Portland for a while, for like 10 or 11 years, and you meet a lot of people that have they claim that they've seen Bigfoot. But then I think about how would we not have actually gotten definitive proof at this point with drones and just, how much people are out there and all that kind of stuff. You'd figure that if Bigfoot is going to have, a successful life as a species, there would have to be enough of them to keep on going. These aren't immortal beings as far as I know, or at least they're not supposed to be. So I don't know. That's a tough one. I want to think that, cryptids and stuff like that, like cryptozoological or zoological creatures exist and all that stuff. That would be awesome. I just don't know. I don't think so. I don't have a good feeling about Bigfoot. What inspired me to do the fundraiser for the local food bank back in October? So I was inspired by a couple of sports YouTubers, football YouTubers that I watch. So there is Tom Grossi. He is a Packers fan and a football YouTuber. I think his channel name is Tom Grossi Comedy. And he's very successful. He used to be a teacher and he retired from, I believe he was a history teacher, or at least that's his area of expertise. And he's just very entertaining. He's really funny. And he's really, charming and sweet and nice and all that stuff. And he would raise money for St. Jude's all the time. So he huge fundraisers. I think at this point, I think he's raised millions, if not at least over $1 million for St. Jude, but I think like millions of dollars so far. And then his cohort, Brandon Perna, who goes by That's Good Sports, who I really like as well, Broncos fan. He's, you know, quite possibly my favorite football YouTuber, I would say, That's Good Sports. He started doing it as well. So I saw these guys, they have wildly successful channels and they were doing it. And I was like, well, there's no reason why I can't just like try to make some sort of dent and do something nice and use some of the time, you know, not to be, because, you know, I love hanging out with you guys. I love doing YouTube. There is a certain amount of it that is like kind of self-satisfying or whatever. Like, I don't find that it's self-indulgent, but I think that it can be seen as that way. So I was like, well, I would just want to do something for someone else. And I thought, you know, during October, I didn't time it for anything because I know it just happened to occur like right after the government shut down and everyone was like, oh, it's great to be doing this, you know, because food banks are being hit. I was going to do it for the food bank anyway. So that timing just ended up, you know, being good timing for the food banks or the food bank here in Phoenix. But really, I wanted to do it because it was spooky season. So I'm going to do another one in April. We'll do like a halfway to Halloween and then a Halloween time. You know, every year I would like to do some sort of 10-hour marathon stream or something like that. Maybe 8 hours next time. It was pretty wild. Thank you for the question, Tia. Thank you for being a member. CS Reviews asks, have you played any of the Left 4 Dead games? A little bit. I can't remember if it was the first one or the second one. It might have been on like the second Xbox. It must have been on the 360 or whatever. And I think it was the second one for some reason. Just played it like one night over at my my sister and brother-in-law's house. I think they had it hooked up. And I thought it was pretty fun. There's just certain pockets of my life where I don't play a lot of video games or I don't get into like more modern games. I'm a huge retro gaming guy. So most times when I pull out a console, I like pull out the Switch or something and I play, you know, like an old Castlevania game or Contra, or, you know, I have the Cowabunga collection for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I kind of, for me, you know, video games are sort of like a gateway back into my childhood. Not to say that, you know, I think that modern games can be really fun too. They just require a lot more time. So sometimes I like to just jump in and play for like, you know, 20 minutes, just play Castlevania and get as far as I can and have Dracula beat the shit out of me, that kind of stuff. All right, let's see what else you guys got going on here. I want to make sure I'm not missing any questions. What's happening, Aaron? How are you doing, bud? Thank you so much for kicking it with us, man. All right, Linda, I see a question there. Jigsaw, I see your question. Let me just highlight some of these here. I am a live Wikipedia for movies. I explain movies in Discord all the time. Yeah, you don't have to ask about it. Guys, I have a lot of useless information buried up here. So it just comes out when I watch movies with people. And they give me shit about it. Dabblepedia, sometimes they call it. Because, guys, they call me Davil, like devil with a southern accent. I think that's what it is. I think it's really mean. But also, I'm flattered that I at least have, like, a nickname or two or three or whatever. It seems like they're kind of never-ending at this point, the nicknames. You know, giving me nicknames like I'm a cat or something. I don't know. All of you cat owners, you know this, right? Your cat, like, has probably 10 to 12 names that you call it. Like, it's got its name. At least I think back, like with my cats, yeah, like, so, like, at least 10 nicknames off the charts. Oh, I'm gonna get to this one here in just a sec. I just want to kind of catch up with you guys here. Looks like Joe had to say goodbye. I hope you have a great night there, Joe. Thank you so much for kicking it with us. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Stand By Me. That's a really great Rob Reiner film. It's tough to think of every single one. I guess here, let me pull up just to answer that question better. Since this is an Ask Me Anything, guys, I am going to be maybe even a little more verbose. If I happen to miss your question, or you want to make sure I really don't miss your question, you can send in a super chat. It's not required, of course. Super chats are just, you know, little extra icing on the cake, as it were. But I do have a super chat goal set. I think 10 super chats of $2 or more. And if we reach that goal, I will host a live stream of horror trivia for you guys. Okay, so let's see what Rob Reiner. Why is it only bringing up? This is weird. Actor? No, I want to know director, please. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see what we got here. A Few Good Men. That's another classic. Ghosts of Mississippi. It's like a low-key classic right there. Stand By Me. He did do Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally. Yeah, he's got a lot of high-quality movies, especially earlier on in his career, I would say. Yeah, I think Stand By Me is pretty great. I love that as a kid. All right, let me make sure I'm not missing any more questions, and then we will get back on it. Get back to it all. Just making sure I'm not missing anybody. Okay, I'm going to jump back on over to the questions here, guys. So, Linda asks, top 3 Buffy characters. Who was your favorite big bad? So, top 3 Buffy characters. I love Buffy, obviously. Oh, gosh. Okay, so my favorite big bad is Glory. Glory has amazing hair, and I really like her attitude. I like her, like, there's something lighthearted. She's still totally evil, but there is something like lighthearted and charming about Glory. So she's my favorite big bad. She might be in my top 3, but let me, since I picked her as my favorite big bad, let me go into the other bag, or the bag of characters for the top 3. So Buffy's got to be in there. I love her to death. I really, God, I like Xander for the most part, but he does get a little shitty here and there. I think Giles. I got to go with Giles. And I'm trying to think of who else I really like. You know what? The principal from like the first season, that guy cracks me up. So I'll give him a spot in the top 3. Why not? Because I want to do something different rather than just pick 3 of the main characters. Did I ever score 4 touchdowns in a single game? No. Is that an Al Bundy reference, Jigsaw? When I was like 13, I played quarterback in my youth football league there in Juneau. I was the only quarterback to throw a touchdown pass that season, and I was able to play in the All-Star game. It was great. I threw a touchdown to my buddy Scotty Roden. Scotty Go Potty a Lottie is what we called him. And it wasn't the best pass. He really made an effort for it. So I'll give him 75% of the credit on that one. There you go, Scotty. What was my inspiration for wanting to be a content creator? Well, the Angry Video Game Nerd got me pretty good like in 2007 when I first got into YouTube. And, so I loved the Angry Video Game Nerd quite a bit. Then when I found like Wolfman's Got Nards and Drum Dums, that was about like 11 or 12 years ago now. I really dug what they were doing. And finding Dave McRae, I think it was probably 2017 when I started watching Dave McRae, leading up to Halloween 2018 coming out. That was where I was like, man, I think I have opinions about these movies and opinions about like what I want to see. And I think I've got something to say and something to share. And I loved being an audience member so much and hanging out with some of, you all that have made it on over here. I just loved kicking it with the community and always had a blast and thought like how fun it would be to, be on the other side, see what the other side was like. And, so I thought I had things to say, and people have told me that I have an interesting voice, or however you want to say it. Like I've gotten compliments for my voice. So I was like, okay, let's give it a shot. Let's see what I can do. Brad Underwood. Oh, by the way, Nanette, thank you so much for the question. Thank you for being a channel member. Appreciate you. And Brad asks, are you a Quantum Leap fan? Yes, I am. Yeah, I watched that show as a kid. I really dig it. Scott Bakula is great. I really dug him in that Clive Barker movie. Why can't I think of the name right now? That's got one of George's bosses from Seinfeld. Lord of Illusions. Clive Barker's Lord of Illusions. I really like Bakula in that one. But yeah, Quantum Leap is great. Had a lot of fun with that show. Aaron Click asks, Davey, do you consider yourself a great cook, a sufficient cook, or barely a cook. I am definitely barely a cook. I've cooked only 4 things the last 10 years. So like great cook, gosh, could I be a chef at a restaurant? I don't think so. I don't think I could work that economically. Now, if I'm just like making a meal for, a smaller meal, especially a meal for 2, perhaps, I think I could hit a level of greatness. I don't know if it would be like, oh my God, freaking out greatness, but I think I could nail it depending on what I would make. I make a bomb ass 1-pot spaghetti. Pretty damn good. I can make my own dough and make pizza, or I can buy dough and still make a bomb ass pizza from the dough that I bought. Making dough is a pain in the butt, but I could do it and I can make pizza that way. Let's see here, like salmon and asparagus. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Pork loin. Yep, I can do that. Yeah, I feel pretty all right with some cooking. I would say like my bacon is unbelievable. Like I do something with bacon that just, I don't know, there's something about it. Damn near perfect. Thank you for the question, Aaron. I like the questions that are sort of like all over the place. I love bouncing all over. Is Primate worth a watch? I've been seeing spoilers for my recommended and heard it wasn't really good. Should I go see it and give it a shot? Well, CS, I would say this, like, I thought it was pretty good. It didn't like absolutely knock my socks off or anything. But the special effects, like the practical effects, are really good. The gore is awesome. The effects with the monkey are great. They use animatronic puppetry and an actor in a suit, and it looks really good and believable and consistent. The effects were very impressive. I really like the soundtrack a lot. I really enjoyed the sound design because there are certain moments that are like pretty much like completely silent. They do a really good job of ratcheting up the tension by pulling away the sound. So I think there's a lot of really good there. I think the story is like, it's pretty basic. It's pretty surface level. So that would be like my knock on it, but I like the performances. Yeah, I would say you should see it for yourself and make up your own mind, especially if you have like a membership like A-List or whatever the Regal membership is. I really recommend checking it out in the theater if you've got one of those. It's way less, costly to do it that way. And then, even if you don't like it, you won't be like, oh man, I spent $18 on that. But yeah, and if you're a really big practical effects enthusiast, I would say check it out in the theater. Yeah, support it if that fits you. Erica drops a $2 super chat and says horror trivia. Woo! Let's fucking go. Thank you so much for the 2, Erica. Really appreciate you. We got Tia Nina dropping a $5 super chat that says, do you have any background or experience in TV/radio? No, I don't. I mean, when I lived in Juneau, my buddy Jesse Van Sickle and I had a radio show. It was just about like, I think it was an hour long. We did something really fun. Every episode that we did, we would do 10 songs in the first 10 minutes. It was like punk rock radio and stuff like that. So we'd find every first 10 minutes of the show you got 10 songs, which I thought was pretty awesome. And then we usually lined up like a theme, some sort of theme to go through the rest of the show. So that was cool. And that was just us. Like, I was in my early 20s. I was probably like 22 or 23 or something at that time. So very, very young. And that was a lot of fun. And then I've performed on the radio, when I was playing in bands, and we would go like with Absent Minds, we did an in studio radio show. I've performed solo up in Juneau on K2, which is the public radio up there. I've done that. And I think there was another time where we performed at K2 and it was a full band in studio. So it's been cool to have those experiences. But as far as like behind the scenes or having like a legit show or anything like that, I don't have any experience. I would love to play a role not necessarily play a role in front of the camera, although I think acting would be really, really fun. I would love to do that. But even just to be behind the camera and do whatever I could just to be there while a short film or a film is made, just so I can get an idea of what it takes, what everyone's job really is, like when you're down in the trenches, and to, be of whatever use I could for the production, wherever they think I could fill a spot or help make the production better. I'd love to do something like that. But yeah, not really any background other than playing music for the most part. Thank you so much for the $5, Tia. Thank you for the question. Erica, really appreciate the tour. Thank you so much. The tour. Buffy is part of my holy trinity. She's pretty awesome, man. She is pretty awesome. What's happening, Blu-ray Addict? Hope you are doing well. Thank you so much for jumping on in. Yeah, trivia, it could be really fun, guys. And we could put together some sort of cool like prize or something like that. We could figure it out what it is. Scott says my cat has 34 names. That's about right, man. It's because it's like, oh, every abbreviation you could make for every nickname and abbreviation you can make from their actual name, and then you can replace some consonants and stuff. Yeah, like one of my cats was Cosmo, and it was like Momo, Momofuku, Cosmito, Cos, you know, Koskilikis, all sorts of just whatever. And then, of course, you call him like Bubba and call him all these other sorts of names. So, yeah, 34 names sounds about right. Sounds about right, man. Scott, if you're still hanging out in the chat, what's a record that came out in 2025 or has already come out this year? I know it's very early. What's a record from 2025 that I just can't miss out on? Or maybe 3. Because I am to, a pretty big degree, at least for me personally, I'm kind of like out of the loop with a lot of, I know you're still, living in that world. And I'm curious to just get a recommendation from you. So it's an ask me anything, but I've got an ask for you. What are, 1 to 3 records from 2025 that I should check out? Okay, let's see what else we got here for questions. Paula, I see yours. I'm going to tag that. Let's see now. Yeah, I like Xander for the most part. I don't know. I think he ends up cheating on Cordelia or something early on in the series, and I didn't quite get that. I mean, when I say cheating, I think I mean he like kissed Willow a couple times or something like that. But I do like the way that Xander is drawn for the most part, and I liked it in the last season. There are actually some stakes with his character, for sure. There you guys go. You can join that Discord. Jump on in. It's really fun. It is really fun. Let's see what else we got going on. Hey there. This is my brother, Matt, and he must be hanging out watching over at my parents' house. They're watching the Packers-Bears game over there. And Reese is my niece. And I told her I would say hi. And then I forgot that she, is probably watching. Hopefully I didn't say anything too terrible so far. Hi, Reese. Hope you're having a great night. Hope you're behaving very well. You are just too adorable. And yeah, you should jump in on the streams more. Come on. Tell your parents you should be able to jump on in and maybe get a channel membership. I don't know, maybe. Love you guys. Hope you have a great rest of your night. And I just hope the game gets a little bit more competitive for y'all. How about that? All right, let me jump back in and grab some more questions here. It looks like we got a few more. Aaron asks, Davey, what is the most enlightening, mind-expanding, psychedelic experience you've ever had? Walk us through it. Well, I've only done psychedelics like 2 or 3 times. So I did a really low dose of ecstasy with my buddy Ryan in Portland. And it was just really chill, like, really easy, like waves. We walked around Southeast Portland. That was pretty awesome. Like, just how aware I was of everything was pretty cute. And I think we ended up watching, we watched Martin, George A. Romero's Martin. And man, that's a fucking crazy movie to watch when you're, hallucinating. It was the first time I had ever taken anything like that. So it was a chill experience, but it was still, a little out there. I think the most psychedelic, the most mind expanding. Okay, so I did mushrooms once. I was living in this house in Northeast Portland, right off Killingsworth, and it was like 36th and Killingsworth. And I took mushrooms and I would like cascade them. So I'd have like one, and then I'd wait like an hour, and I'd have another one, and then I'd wait an hour and have another one, and that would be like that. But I played Resident Evil 4. I love that game, and I wanted to know what it was like shrooming. It was pretty wild. And then it started snowing outside. That was crazy, and it really was snowing. And I watched Batman Forever and Batman 66. And even though it doesn't sound like that was mind expanding psychedelic, it was pretty wild. It was a wild experience, like each one of those activities. And anytime I've done mushrooms twice, I think, maybe 3, but I think just 2. You like go through every moment in your life and like critique it extra hard, even more than you do when you lay down and try to fall asleep and you can't fall asleep and you start thinking about all the embarrassing things you did in high school. I would say mushrooms bring that out in a big way. So, and then after that, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm too old for this shit. I had the experience. It was fun. But I need a more chill existence than that. Paula Fitzhenry, by the way, Aaron, thank you for the question. Paula Fitzhenry, one of our great channel members, thank you for being a member, Paula, asks, who is your favorite football team? Well, in the NFL, Paula, I root for the Washington Redskins. And in college, I root for the Michigan Wolverines. So there you go. There's a story for both of those. So my dad went to the University of Michigan to get his master's degree. So all of us kids have always rooted for Michigan, no matter where we've lived in the country. And then the Redskins became a fixture in my family because when we were living in Bowie, Maryland, I believe that was, middle of 1982, we moved there. I was just a couple months old. The Redskins were really good, and the Orioles, I think, were just about to win a World Series. So my siblings became, Redskins, Orioles, and Washington Capitals fans as well. So there you go. Raggedy Man asks, by the way, Raggedy Man, another channel member. Thank you for being a channel member. Thank you for being a channel member. How about that? Raggedy Man says you can erase one movie from the Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, or Friday the 13th franchises. What movie are you choosing to erase? Freddy's dead. See you, Freddy's dead. You're gone. Hell yeah. Thank you so much for throwing that out there. And yeah, my brother is a YouTube channel member. So thank you so much for being a member, Matt. You can actually send a member chat because I'm curious to know how long you've been a member. Let me know. And I am way behind. Let me see if I can catch up. Welcome on in, the Oct. Hope you are doing well. Thank you so much for joining us here. Samantha, I have not seen those movies. I probably won't either. They don't really look like my cup of tea. Never say never, but I don't plan on checking those out. All right, let's see here. I'm just going to grab a couple more questions, and then we will get going here. All right. Ooh, Buccaneers fan, or Buccaneer Bruce is in here. I see your question, Buccaneer Bruce. I got that going. Rainica Ackley, my pal from Juneau, who's back in Juneau now and married. Congratulations. I don't know if I've actually got to tell you that, Rainica. I know I've messaged it to you, but I don't know if I've told you. Rainica says The Cause. She must be talking about one of my very first band back in Juneau. Rainica's been there since the very beginning. It was, I think, the first time I met Rainica. Oh my gosh, what was I, 16 or 17, and Rainica was 14 or something at a show in Juneau. I think it at an outdoor show. Was it right next to the wharf? I think that might have been it. I can't remember. Oh, Rainica, thank you so much for being such a sweet friend all these years. I am so far behind. Oh, just 7 minutes behind. My cat's name is Gizmo. Call him Gizzy, Boo, Boo Boo, little shit, Gizzy Bops. There you go. Yeah, it's never ending. It's whatever syllable comes out, Let's see here. Yep, Xander becomes a pirate in season 7. Yeah, I never checked out the Buffy comics, but I've heard about them. He dates Dawn. Oh, wow. Really? I thought... Interesting. That's a bit wild. Okay, let me grab a couple of these questions here. Brad asks, have you ever been to Philly? I have. I've been to Philadelphia a couple times, Brad. I love Philadelphia. I've had such a fun time there. Back when I was living in Tempe, like in '07, out here in the Phoenix area, Paint It Black, a band from Philadelphia. They're a hardcore band. Dan Yeeman from Lifetime, the guitarist from Lifetime, and I believe he was one of the lead songwriters in that band. He started Paint It Black, where he just sings in that band, but they're still his songs, and it's more hardcore, whereas Lifetime is a bit more like melodic, kind of skate punk kind of vibes. And they did a record release show like a whole weekend of shows back in '07. And so I flew out there from Phoenix, and they were like, hey, if you fly out or if you're coming from out of town, we have a secret show. You can reach out to us. And this was in the MySpace days. Reach out to us via MySpace and we'll give you the address for the secret show. So I went and checked in at my hotel and got a cab to South Philly, and it was a house show in South Philly. Andy, the bassist from Paint It Black, was the one that I was in contact with. He was super cool, very gracious, very friendly. I was able to get into that show. It was awesome, and hang out with those guys and see the Unlovables from Brooklyn, New York. I believe Brooklyn. I really love the Unlovables. They're pretty fun. There was another band, and I think they're from Philly, called Algernon Cadwallader, and they were a little more of that indie kind of. I don't know if you guys know who Cap'n Jazz is. Not a very famous band with I think a big group of music fans, but in the indie world, especially like the indie emo, garagey kind of punky world, Cap'n Jazz from Chicago they're something of like it's wild. They were just like kids. I think Mike Kinsella was playing drums in that band when he was 17. Tim Kinsella was the singer, and he was just 19. So they were very young, very like free and uninhibited. And anyways, blah 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 blah. Algernon Cadwallader kind of sounded like them, and it was a hell of a house show. Got to hang out with Mikey Erg at that show, and after that show, because we went to like an after party thing, because he was drumming in the Unlovables at that time. It was wild. And then I've been in Philly because I worked on the Wizard World Comic Con and worked in Philly, so I've had a lot of fun out there, and I love that city. Yeah, love it. CS Reviews asks, what is your favorite horror movie of all time? Mine is It 2017. All right. That is such a tough question. If you consider Jaws a horror movie, then I guess that's it, because Jaws is my favorite movie of all time. I don't really consider Jaws like, strictly horror, though, because it's so much more than that. So let's go ahead and say John Carpenter's The Thing from 1982. There we go. Stranger Things character rankings from all season. Well, maybe we can get into that. There's a lot of characters. There are a lot of characters on that show. I would be down to rank the seasons with you guys. It would be a short ranking. Maybe we could find another ranking to pair it up with. But I'd be curious to know how you guys collectively as a group rank those seasons. I know some of you have given me your personal rankings and everything in the chats, but it would be cool to do it as a group. Buccaneer Bruce asks, do you have any 80s songs you think should be used in current horror movie that hasn't been used before? Gosh, 80 songs that should be used in a horror movie that haven't been used. Okay, well, I could be wrong if I name something that hasn't been used yet, but I'm trying to think of something. I don't know. That's a tough one. You put me on the spot with that one. No, I like it. It's I want to say something from Tears for Fears, something that hasn't been used to death already. I don't know. That is a good one. Bruce, I'm going to have to think about that a little bit, because my mind goes to like REO Speedwagon, Tears for Fears, and I'm trying to think of one that could have like a spooky feel or could be used, in that way. Okay, so maybe if you did something with Freddy Krueger, I think I found it. Do something with Freddy Krueger, and then there's what's his face? I think it's Dan Hartman. There's a song called "I Could Dream About You" by Dan Hartman. I think that would be a good one for like a Freddy kind of thing. There. I had to think about it. There was a little bit of dead air there, but I got it answered. Let's see here. Prince, I see your question there. I'm going to star that one. Oh, no way. How about that, Erica? How about that? Interesting. I see one from Nanette that I can't wait to answer. Doug jumping on in says, I lived in Bowie, Maryland from 2006 to 2011 and am a huge Caps fan. Hell yeah, Doug. Well, welcome on into the channel and the chat. Thank you so much for joining us on this lovely Saturday evening. Yeah, I was so pumped that the Caps finally got over that hump and won the cup a handful of years ago. That was great. It was a long time coming and a lot of frustrating postseasons before that, right, Doug? Too cool, man. Thank you so much for joining and sharing that connection. I love that. Yes, Tia, Matt is my brother who had his birthday on the 13th of December. There you go. Orioles beat my Phillies in the 83 World Series. There it is. There it is. Pats fan right here. All right, now we know where Paula's interests lie this weekend. Definitely a Buccaneers fan. Yes. Oh, I love it. Hey, what's happening, Zach? Hope you're doing well, man. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Let's see here. What else do we got going on? Frank's Media and Reviews. What's happening, Frank? Great to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well. Hope you and your family are having a great 2026 so far and that you all had, great Christmas season there. All right, Prince, I see yours as well. Let's see what else we got going on. I might skip to the front here or to the bottom of the chat. About to watch Black Phone 2. Missed it in the theater, so I'm excited to watch it. All right. Frank, I hope you enjoy it. I thought it was going to be better than it was based on the trailer. And because I really loved the first movie, I thought they could expand on it really well. But I think I ended up still liking the first movie better. But it's so worth a watch. I hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, feel free to throw out a question if you want to get crazy with it. Yeah, I think you can consider it horror, but it's like adventure. It's a creature feature. It's got comedic elements. It's a drama. It's a thriller, like all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Yeah, the thing is pretty awesome. What's happening, Master Casalius? It's been a while, man. Thank you so much for jumping on in. I hope you're doing well. And feel free to ask a question if you've got one. I'm starring a whole bunch. And, Girls on Film. There you go. That's a good one. That is a good one. Okay, let's see here. When are we getting a new Freddy? I don't know. That's up to the Craven estate. And then also, because I think New Line still holds some sort of rights. Not all of them, but something to do with the rights. And then New Line might get sold to Netflix via Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers owns New Line now. So it'll be interesting to see if that affects anything. Night Shift from Susie and the Banshees would be great for a horror movie. It has that spooky feel. Yeah, Susie and the Banshees, some of the Cramp stuff or something could definitely has that spooky kind of vibe for sure. I was trying to think of what's a good more pop song that would be creepy. Thank you so much for hanging out, Papa John. Thank you for being a channel member. I hope you have a great rest of your night, bud. Take care. Okay, let's see what we got here. I Can Dream About You was used in Walter Hill's Streets of Fire. Great song, underrated movie. Yeah, that is a little bit of a classic, right? A little bit of a classic there. I love that song so much. He's got a couple other songs. He does the Get Out of Town song from Fletch, which I really love. Guys, Fletch is one of my favorite movies of all time. I watch it once or twice a year, no joke. Yeah, Dan Hartman's fun stuff. We got Pizzowl in the chat. What's happening, Piz? Hope you're doing well. And he puts a warning out there. Keep an eye on Frank. He's a hardcore troll. Yes. Guys, look out for Frank. He's been known to be too nice, too friendly. Keep an eye out. Hardcore troll. Hope you're doing well, Piz. Hope you and Jeremy and Hemingway are having a good 2026 so far. Great to see you. Always a pleasure. Haven't had any problems yet. No, we'll be fine. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to answer some questions here, guys. It looks like I'm kind of caught up. Interpol or Joy Division / New Order. Oh, I would do Joy Division / New Order any day. I don't remember too much of Interpol. I don't remember finding them particularly interesting during that whole 80s revival thing that happened in the early 2000s. I don't remember liking Interpol very much when I heard them. Like, them and the Bravery didn't really do anything for me. I liked the first Killers record pretty all right, although I don't think Somebody Told Me is that good of a single. They didn't have me until Mr. Brightside came out. And then, you know, they've got some other really good songs on that record as well. I think the opening track is really good too, if I remember correctly. I can't think of the name of it, but the opening track on that Hot Fuss record's pretty awesome. So I would go Joy Division, New Order, easy. I really like the spooky kind of vibe. I really like especially with the Joy Division stuff, there's a little bit of a kind of, I don't know, a little bit of a Doorsy kind of feel that's mixed in with that new wave. Yeah, I dig those guys quite a bit. Nanette says, okay, I have a question for you, Davey, and everyone in the chat. How do you feel about reusable ice cubes? Oh, you mean like those stones that you can freeze and stuff like that? Or just like the plastic? Yeah, here's the thing. If they're like made out of plastic, I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff. You know, just like limit the plastic that I'm like, that's in my drink and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. If they're the little stones and you put them in a drink, I think that works. I would just make sure you wash them and then you should be fine. Reusable ice cube advice from Davey. Ding. Wait, how about this, guys? I got some reusable ice. I almost said reusable ice cream. That would be wild. It's not the stuff. Reusable ice cube tray advice from Davey. Okay, moving on. Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, which are you more interested in? Lord of the Rings? Yeah, I think Harry Potter is like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's very derivative. So a lot of it's like seen it, taped it, you know, already watched it kind of thing. So yeah, I'd say Lord of the Rings. I would pick like Star Wars over both of those though. So at least like the older Star Wars stuff I really enjoy. Thoughts on the Ghostbusters franchise? You know, I've only seen the first two. I really like both of those. I love the first Ghostbusters. I think the second one's pretty awesome too. I never watched the Paul Feig one, and I haven't seen either of the newer ones. I can't even remember, what is it, Afterlife and then Frozen Empire? I think that's what they're called. I haven't seen any of those, so I don't know. I don't know about them. But yeah, the first two are classics. What is my favorite non-horror movie? Okay, so let's exclude Jaws because it's all time and it's kind of horror and it's kind of not. So let's just exclude that. I would say my favorite non-horror movie is like probably either Fletch or Network, something like that. Network is amazing. Patty Chayefsky, really, really good shit. Yeah, I love that movie. Peter Finch, William Holden, Faye Dunaway, Robert Duvall. Ned Beatty is in that one. Beatrice Straight won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for Network, and she is in the movie for like 8 minutes and 2 scenes or something like that. And then Ned Beatty got nominated for Best Supporting Actor. He has 1 scene. Like, that's how amazing Network is. If you haven't seen it, it's an absolutely brilliant film and way ahead of its time. It's got some really interesting stuff going on in there thematically, and then also just the writing and the staging of it as well. It feels like a movie that wasn't made in 71, something like that. Who would you hire on a murder case, Nancy Drew or Sherlock Holmes? I'd go with Encyclopedia Brown. No, I do love Encyclopedia Brown. I love those books when I was a kid. I think I got to go with Sherlock Holmes. I'm just not familiar with the Nancy Drew stuff enough to know. Is she really, really that good? Is she like up to Sherlock's level? Because I feel like Sherlock is going to solve it no matter what, right? Like, if you put him on the case, he's like never lost. So I think you got to go Sherlock, right? I think so. Nanette asks another one, says, Davey, would you be interested in doing a live stream talk about the characters and the seasons of Stranger Things? You know, I've been talking a lot of Stranger Things stuff lately. I might have something planned for tomorrow, because all of this Now the behind the scenes documentary that's coming out on Monday is getting all sorts of buzz that maybe it's not just a behind the scenes documentary. AKA Erica has sent me more crazy theory stuff, which would be amazing if it's true. I just say crazy because it's happening again. And to me, it almost seems to make more sense this time around than the last time around. So I don't know. We'll see in the net. I might have to put a pause on, I guess it depends on what everyone wants to see from me by and large, because I am doing the horror movie club for all of you channel members. So I'm putting a little bit more on my plate to make sure that I'm there for you guys who have memberships. And then, the channel's pretty fluid. So I feel like I've talked about those things a lot lately. And if I'm going to discuss Stranger Things, I want it to be something fresh and new. But certainly not against it. Let's see what else we got going here. Okay. Okay, Master Casalius has got one. There you go. Fletch is hilarious, says Rick. Thanks for joining us again, Rick. Did you see the newest one, Confess Fletch, with John Hamm? Oh my gosh, I love this movie so much, Rick. I thought that was such a pleasant surprise. I haven't been too blown away by John Hamm's work in film. Like in Top Gun Maverick, he just sort of took me out of it because I just think of him as this TV actor that was on Mad Men. But oh my gosh, he really hit the tone of Fletch very well. He's not quite as silly and childish as Chevy's Fletch, but I've never read any of the Fletch books. There's I don't know if there's like 7 or 8 of them, something like that. But I've heard that Chevy's Fletch is more childish than the version in the book. And the version in the book, there's a little bit more of a grounded, just a little bit more. Because I think John Hamm, he does have the vibe of Chevy. Maybe he just doesn't take it as far. But I think they're both great at playing the character of Fletch. And John Hamm is a really good fit. I think it was a passion project for him because he loves the character so much. And I wish they would make more. I think that movie was that good. Like, I've watched that movie maybe 4 or 5 times. And for a relatively new movie, that's kind of a lot for me, especially to revisit a comedy so much because I just don't do it very much. But with Fletch, what I really like about the first movie and Confess Fletch is not only is the comedy really good, but the mystery is actually really good. So it's not just this comedy movie where this investigative reporter solves some sort of case and it's all just kind of by the numbers and predictable. Like, I think they do a good job at building the mystery, and that's what I think the magic of Fletch is. And also the writing. I wish I could remember the guy who wrote the book. If anyone wants to look that up, they can be the Davilpedia of the night in regards to Fletch. I can't think of the author's name right now, but hats off to him for creating the character. Yeah, Fletch is amazing, Sean. And welcome on in, Sean. I know I brought up one of your chats earlier. I don't know if I said welcome, but certainly you are that. So welcome on in. Let's see here. Going to get some more questions pinned here. Wayne, I see yours. Ray, I see yours. Let's see here. Afterlife was decent. Frozen Empire just felt like studio executives created it. Yeah. Neither one of those look too, inspiring to me. Let's see here. Paula, I'm going to grab that. Sean, I got your question as well. Encyclopedia Brown's amazing. You know it. Prince, that's an easy one. It's Indiana Jones. Yes, it's got to be Indy. But man, I love those Tomb Raider remake video games. Those are really good. Yeah, Network is great. Got to check it out. Trying, Matt. Hope you're doing well. You know what it is, really, Matt. And thank you so much for being a moderator, guys. Bocce Cinema is fantastic. I love Matt. He's one of the very first friends that I made here on YouTube, like content creator that became a bud. We got to do something again sometime soon, Matt. It's been too long. He says, "Damn, brother, you're always grinding. Wish I had the passion and joy back." Well, here's what it is, Matt. So last night I did a stream. We did that live audience tier maker ranking of the movies. And we ended up reaching our super chat goal. So I owe these guys this stream, and they picked an Ask Me Anything, which is relatively easy. Thank you, guys. And yeah, I talked for all day at work today. Just talk. So I'm doing everything I can to, push this voice and give you guys some of that good. Okay, I'm going to grab some questions, and then we'll jump back on in here. Where were we? Master Casalius, what are your top 5 indie horror films? Indie. The Evil Dead is in there. I can't rank them. I'm not going to rank them. I'm just going to pick 5. The Evil Dead has got to be in there. Halloween has to be in there. That's indie. Dawn of the Dead, the original Dawn of the Dead. That's indie. Trying to think of what else is like true independent. Dead Alive. I'm going to put Dead Alive in there as well. Another horror movie that's independent. Let's go ahead and do Texas Chainsaw Massacre. How about it? There we go. I got 5. Ray asks, can we watch Subspecies 4 later? Yes, we can, Ray. We were going to watch Life Force, Toby Hooper's Life Force, which I've still never seen and been meaning to watch for a really long time. We had discussed watching that one, but yes, Ray and I have been watching the Subspecies movies. Man, Full Moon's really impressive. Great production value, especially for how obviously low budget the films are. You know, a lot of Barbara Crampton in there, which I certainly don't have a problem with. She's not in Subspecies or anything like that, but just Full Moon in general. And yeah, the Subspecies movies have been really cool. I don't know if you guys have seen those. They are like way better than I expected they would be. And I see a lot of inspiration for like, you know, Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the Subspecies movies with the makeup on Radu. And then even the guy that plays Stefan in the first movie he has a very similar like facial bone structure to Spike, you know, from Buffy. So yeah, Subspecies, man, really good. And yeah, Ray, honestly, you know how I feel. Whatever you want to watch, baby. That's how I feel. Don't make me all lover boy in the middle of the stream. Don't make me do it. You guys are aware, right? I have a huge old stupid crush on Ray. You guys know about that? I think she might like me back. I think so. I don't know. It's day to day on that one. Wayne says, Davey, do you think an Elm Street series where Freddy is learning how to access dreams even before the parents of Elm Street kill him would work? Like a TV series or something. Yeah, it would, you know, I don't know if I want so if we go by the same logic that was in Freddy's Dead, right? That he's actually possessed by dream demons. I like the idea more from Wes Craven's New Nightmare, where it's just one singular entity that like Freddy has made a deal with, or however you want to put that, you know? But I think so. How about this? Well, can it be a combination of our ideas, Wayne? Because I don't want to just say no to you. How about an Elm Street series where, yes, Freddy is a human being a total piece of shit, as we know, but we get to see a little bit of that dark side. We get to see the fear and the anxiety and the paranoia build in Springwood, all that kind of stuff. And something is going on supernaturally that he's dabbling in. I don't want it to be the 3 like sperm demons from Freddy's Dead, but yeah, let's go ahead and make it some sort of ritual kind of thing that he does as part of his dirty work, you know, and then it turns into something to where he is able to transcend once he is killed by the parents of Elm Street. Something like that. Like, that would be cool. And I really think you only need like 1 season of this show. If you want to do a Freddy like prequel series, just like 1 season, let's get back to the movies. Davey, how would you feel about a horror movie starring Grumpy Cat? I don't think it's necessary. I think Grumpy Cat's cute, and I don't think everything should be turned into a horror thing. How about that, Samantha? My favorite comedy of all time. Well, I guess I gotta say Fletch. I would say, yeah, there's here, I'll give you 5, Paula. Fletch, Caddyshack, Airplane, The Naked Gun, Hot Shots. Fuck it, we'll just go with a whole bunch of parody. But I love all that, like Loaded Weapon 1, National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1. I love Hot Shots Part 2. I love Naked Gun's 2.5. Naked Gun 33 1/3 is all right. It's pretty good. I think the first 2 Naked Gun movies are way better. but I still get joy out of Naked Gun 33 and a third. Top Secret's a lot of fun. Kentucky Fried Movie, The Original Vacation, Christmas Vacation. I really love comedy quite a bit, Paula. It's tough for me to pick one, but I gave you 5, and 2 of them have Chevy Chase in it. Or, yeah, in them. How about that? Is there a chance you'd ever do a John Hughes ranking both directed and written movies? I know this is a horror channel. Hey, Sean, check it out. You know what's really cool about that is my buddy Jason over at Backtrack Cinema. So look up Backtrack Cinema on YouTube, here on YouTube, because I guested on his channel right around Thanksgiving. Because I believe I hopped on Facci Cinema. We watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. By the way, Matt, if you're still here in the chat, Matt Facci, I saw the numbers for that stream just went bonkers. Like it's crazy. Every now and then a watch party stream will just have a lot of second life. You know, I've had that happen once. Big Trouble in Little China is the one watch party that for whatever reason still gets views on the channel. Watch parties usually, you know, it's like once it's not so much fun to watch somebody watch something else, but hey, speaks to fandom. Right around that time anyways, Sean, I hopped on Jason's channel on Backtrack Cinema, and we celebrated the life and work of John Candy and John Hughes. So we talked about both of them, and it wasn't necessarily a ranking or anything like that, but it was certainly a love fest. So if you want to see something like that, you can check it out over there. I probably won't do a John Hughes ranking, you know, here on this channel. Probably not. You know, maybe I need to start a second channel for stuff like that. Titanic versus Avatar, which is the better movie? Either way, it's James Cameron fist fighting himself. Oh, those are 2 tough ones to compare. I don't think I'll ever watch Titanic again. They're both technical achievements. I guess I would say Avatar. Just because if you put them both in front of me and said you have to watch one of these movies, I would probably pick Avatar right now. I'm a bigger fan of like what James Cameron does for film than the films that he makes at this point. Does that make sense? What are my thoughts on fair food? Love it, dude. I mean, gosh, Antonis, by the way, welcome on in, bud. Yeah, hot dogs, hamburgers, brisket sandwiches, pulled pork sandwiches, fries, cowboy fries, you know, loaded up with like the cheese and the meat and everything. Get a big old burrito, some cotton candy, maybe a little bit of ice cream, corn dog, whatever, shaved ice. Yeah, fair food's good, man. It's really expensive and it's not necessarily healthy for you. So all of those things sound very good and very enticing. I don't eat all of those things. However, I am a cotton candy fiend. I will buy and eat cotton candy. It's true. But it's funny because the event that I'm working at this weekend is a home show here in Phoenix, and they basically have a bunch of fair food at the food court. There's like thousands of people at this event. So I've been eating fair food the last couple days because the company pays for it. Free lunch, y'all. Free lunch. Antonis drops a $5 and asks the same question. So, hey, I was going to answer it anyways, but thank you so much for the $5, Antonis. I really do appreciate it. Let's talk a little bit more about fair food. How about it? Yesterday, I ate this barbecue beef sandwich, and it had like grilled onions on it, and they put a couple grilled jalapenos on there for me and drenched it in barbecue sauce. It was so tasty. It was a gigantic mess, but it was so yummy. And today I had a bacon burger and a giant hot dog because fries would have cost only $1 less than the hot dog, and I thought the hot dog would be of more nutritional value since it actually has protein, I think. But yeah, fair food, really fun stuff. Maybe get a churro, something like that, you know. And if you're drinking, you can have fun drinks at the fair. I worked the Arizona State Fair, and they had like a fudge company was right across the way from me, and they had a bunch of yummy looking stuff. I just ended up buying their cotton candy. But yeah, thank you so much for the $5, Antonis. Really do appreciate you. And let's see where we're at here. So we've got 3 out of the 10 super chats so far. Is that right? For some reason, I thought there were more than that. Maybe I need to update the YouTubes. But that could be right. That could be right. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, 3 out of the 10. There we go. Okay, so that's where we're at. All right, let me catch on up with you guys here. Dude, that's going to be awesome. Jake is a stellar dude, and I know he really loves... You guys are doing Scream 4. Is it Scream 4? I think that's the one you're watching. Is that right, Matt? Let me know. I know he's a big fan of that one. I'm a huge fan of Scream 4. Master Casalius. I just hit 5 months. Just hit 5 months on the 6th. So marching to that 6 month mark here. Radu is he's pretty interesting. He's like a tough guy on the one hand and then a total mama's boy on the other hand. It's interesting. Bishop Walters. What's happening, Bishop Walters? Thank you so much for joining us. Not sure if this is your first time, but welcome on in. You're kicking it with the Death Squad. And Bishop Walters asks, best and worst decades of movies. I'm going with the 2010s being the worst, but the 2020s isn't looking good so far. I'm going with the 1980s as being the best overall. Best and worst of movies. I would say maybe something like... I guess it depends on what kind of movies we're talking about. 2010s, I don't remember like that much great, but Evil Dead from 2013, Halloween 2018 I really like. There's probably a comedy or two I like in there. The 50s I don't know very well, other than like, West Side Story, I think came out in the late 50s. Maybe that was early 60s though. Let's go with 50s for worst, because I can't even think of any, other than like your standard creature feature drive-in movie kind of stuff. Best 80s that's a good pick, man. I think 80s. I think if I had to pick one decade to watch movies from, I think I could find enough in the 80s that I loved that would make me happier. Although some of my favorite comedies are from the 90s, like Tommy Boy and Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, and the Hot Shots movies and stuff like that. Let's see here. Life Force, oh my, a teenage boy's dream. Yeah, I know there's a lot of nudity with like the lead vampire. I still haven't seen it though. Thoughts on President of the SAG-AFTRA Nolan's The Audit. I'm not very interested, Prince. I don't find Christopher Nolan's movies to be like particularly interesting to me. When I hear about the movies he's making, I'm just like, I'm sure they're great movies on a technical level and acted well and everything. I'm just not interested in stuff like Oppenheimer. I don't care. Like, I'd rather just read about the real person than watch like a 3-hour movie about him. So the Odyssey, like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't really move the needle for me. I'm sure it'll be like adequate and epic, and it could be really cool. It's a tough story to tell, it's an epic poem. Translating it to film, they did the TV version with like Armand Assante back in the 90s, I think. I think what was Monica Bellucci in that, something like that. I don't know. I'll probably go see it, but I'm not going to like rush to go see it. Yes, Ray. Barfing from my sweetness. I know. I'm such a mushy bastard. Let's see what else we got here. Ben Grimm, one of our great channel members, asks, have you seen the first episode of Freddy's Nightmares? It's like a prequel of the movies and directed by Tobe Hooper. That's the only episode I've seen of the show. And Ben, can you confirm for me, is it the only episode that like stars a Freddy like story? I think it is. I think I remember that being a thing, but tell me if I'm right or wrong on that one. Let's see what else we got going on here. All right, Nanette, I'm starring that one. Love the OG Vacation. That's the best one. Yeah, it's pretty damn good. Guys, I'll probably go for about another 15 minutes, okay? So if you do have a question, you want to make sure I don't miss it, feel free to send in, the lowest super chat, just if you want to make sure I don't miss it. It's certainly not a requirement. But I need to just think about resting my voice and also, just unwinding before a third day of talking all day in a row. Three Amigos is great. Yeah. Aaron, I've got yours. There we go. Yeah. Gunga. A gunga, a lunga. A gunga, a gunga. So great. He said, oh, there'll be no tip, but on your deathbed, you will receive total and utter consciousness. So I got that going for me, which is nice. Okay, let's see here. Is this another? Davey, I just want to recognize that I've hit 100 likes on my Dark Knight review on Letterboxd. There you go. Congratulations, bud. Funnel cake. That's another really fun fair food. There you go. Yeah. Deep fried Twinkies. Deep fried Oreos. Love them. I have not had... Wait, I think I've had a deep fried Twinkie. I haven't had a deep fried Oreo or deep fried Snickers, but I want a deep fried Snickers. Really want to try that one. Thoughts on Twister 96? It was fun for what it was. Yeah, you know, there were all those disaster kind of movies back then that were, you know, just doing the fun like nature versus humans kind of thing. And then the other disaster movies like the Roland Emmerich movies, you know, Independence Day and all that. I thought Twister was pretty fun. Nothing that really like blew my mind or anything back then. But yeah, you had like Volcano and Dante's Peak, and there were just so many of those kinds of movies. Faux protein in hot dogs. Let's see what else we got going here. First Scream. All right. Hell yeah. Or the 14th Scream. I'm just joking. Okay. Let's see here. Am I serious that I don't like the Terminator movies that James did? No, I just meant his films like lately, Nanette. Yeah, I love the first Terminator is my favorite in that whole franchise. I think the first two are really solid. Yeah, I think the earlier James Cameron movies I like more. But he is, it's amazing what he's done for filmmaking. Like, he is one of the most important figures, I think, in all of filmmaking history, because of what he's, you know, done by pushing technology. It's just been incredible. I mean, they created Photoshop for The Abyss and Terminator 2. Like, it was created by the people that were working on his movie. That's why Photoshop even exists. And then you think of, you know, what Adobe became after that. So it's incredible. Like, that's the kind of filmmaker he is, that he changes the game, and he's done it multiple times. It's really, really impressive. Put that cookie down. Oh, I love that. Bumblebee tuna. Ace Ventura aged like milk. Oh no, I love Ace Ventura. I love him so much. But, you know, maybe it's because I was like the right age. I was like 12 or 13 when the first movie came out. It was the perfect age for a young boy to see this like man-child just acting ridiculous and full of energy like he was a child himself, you know? Let's see here. Well, I wouldn't eat all of that. Yeah, I wouldn't eat all of that fair food in one day. I can eat like a couple things at the fair and that's it. So I would get like a meal, and then I would get cotton candy probably. I feel the same way about Nolan. Memento is the only movie of his that I really love. Most of his movies are good, but I don't rewatch them. Yeah, I think Memento's great. You know, even his Batman movies, I think they're good. I think The Dark Knight's the best one. I would still rather watch Batman and Batman Returns than like any of the Dark Knight trilogy. I guess maybe that's a hot take. I don't know. Is that a hot take? You'll have to tell me. Hey, what's happening, Maxwell King Horror? Hope you're doing well, Maxwell. Well, Maxwell, how about this? Hope you're doing well, Max. Hopefully I can call you Max. Hopefully we're at that stage in our relationship. Yeah, I hope you're having a great new year so far, bud. Guys, if you have not checked out Max's channel, if one of the mods could share it in the stream, that would be great. Give him a sub. Show him some love. Stick around for a little bit. Bears take the lead. That is incredible. I've not kept an eye on this game, but now I have to pull it up. So how about now? There we go. Another crazy game between the Packers and the Bears. Wow, 45 seconds left. The Packers have to score a touchdown to win. Very exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff. Okay, let's see. No, I did not see Twisters with Glenn Powell. Have not done it. Probably won't see that one. What's happening, Jared Arnold, one of our great channel members. Long time no see, I think, in the chat. So thank you so much for jumping on in, Jared Arnold. I've done that more than once. It's so funny. It's because his name's Jared Arnold. My brain wants to just squish them together. Gerald. At this point, I should just start calling you Gerald on purpose. Then at least I don't have to, admit that I'm just being stupid about it. My question: out of Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Scream, Chucky, what's your least favorite from those franchises and why? Like, I have to pick one of the whole franchises that would be my least favorite. So if I'm doing that, I'll do it I'll answer your question a couple different ways, Max. I guess I would say Chucky would be my least favorite if we're going to think about, out of all those franchises, which one is my least favorite. I really love the first 3 Chucky movies. I think Bride of Chucky is really fun, but everything else I don't really need in the franchise. So I'll say Chucky if we're talking the whole franchise. Now, if I'm talking one movie from all of these movies that I don't ever want to see again, it's going to be like Freddy's Dead or Seed of Chucky. So pretty close on those. I'll go see. Is Seed of Chucky so bad it's good? Yeah, I'll go Seed of Chucky. I'll say that's the worst one out of all the movies in the whole shebang, because even on Freddy's Dead, the Goo Goo Dolls song is pretty rocking in the soundtrack, and I could get stoned and laugh at Freddy's Dead. How about that? John Cusack or John Travolta? That's my last question of the night. John Cusack. I love, High Fidelity is one of my favorites. I worked at a record store. I'm a big music guy. I actually read that book. I don't read a lot of books. I don't know if that probably comes to as a shock to many of you. I read Terrifier 3 recently. But yeah, High Fidelity, I love that from John Cusack. Better Off Dead is great. One Crazy Summer. I mean, he had so many really good movies in the 80s. Say Anything is really good. He has a smaller role in, I believe it's 16 Candles. I think that might have been one of his first roles. Really like him in that. So yeah, easily it's got to be John Cusack over Travolta. Although I do love Travolta in Pulp Fiction. I know it's been way too long, man. Thank you so much for jumping in and kicking it with us. Feel free to get in a question. Gerald is one of our channel members. Thank you so much for your membership, man. Really appreciate you sticking with us. And yeah, get in a question while you can. I'll be going for about another 6 minutes, guys. Let's see here. Sean G sending in a $10 Canadian and says, in honor of your sobriety and overall kindness. Thanks, brother. Well, thank you so much, Sean. Please feel free to ask another question if you'd like, and I'll make sure to get to it before we finish everything out. But thank all of you guys. I mean, it's like, I love doing this. I would do this if it were 5 people in the chat or 10 people in the chat. I'd still be doing it because I just have so much fun hanging out with you guys, and you guys are incredibly kind as well. So I appreciate it. Right back from you there, Sean. I think you've been very kind, and Zach earlier today had made a comment on one of my posts just about how he can tell I've been working really hard and keeping everything going, and that's awesome because it is so much fun. But it is, on some level, it is, there's a work element to it, although I feel pretty relaxed. How about that? But yeah, it is nice when that work is just appreciated, right? And I'm sure all of you appreciate it to some level, but it is cool when somebody voices that appreciation. I think we all, whether it's like your significant other or a best friend or a family member, giving kudos or getting kudos feels kind of nice. So thank you so much, Zach, for that as well. You guys are all incredibly sweet and kind. So I sure do appreciate you guys kicking it with us and hanging out. Saw Twisters in the theater. Going to quote Stephen King on this one. Love the movie, but I didn't like the ending. Yeah, I just have no interest in Twisters in that follow-up. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to grab a couple of these other questions that I starred. Just need a sip of water. About 5 minutes left, guys. What is your favorite horror movie from each decade? Starting out with the one that comes first of all, the way to 2025. You know, no, I got you. Yeah, from the 1960s, it's going to be Night of the Living Dead. From the 1970s, it's going to be Halloween. From the 1980s, it's going to be The Thing. From the 1990s, it's going to be favorite horror movie. I'll go with the first Scream movie or Child's Play 2. From the 2000s, I'm going to say Dawn of the Dead. From the 2010s, Evil Dead, from 2013. From the 2020s so far, my favorite horror movie is, oh my gosh, it is going to be really close between When Evil Lurks and Longlegs in the 2020s. I thought that was going to take a lot longer than it did. Thank you so much, Nanette. Aaron Click says, Davey, name a movie or a few that you've seen before, but upon rewatch, you discovered you like way more than on your original viewing. I actually think that's like a really fun phenomenon, and sometimes it goes the other way. I've mentioned Donnie Darko before. Loved Donnie Darko the first time I saw it, liked it less and less every single time, to where I started seeing gaping plot holes, and it just kind of like annoyed me after that. But what about the reverse? A movie that I watched, the more I watched it, the more I liked it. Gosh, that is a tough one. That is a tough one. Here, I'll say this. Even though I liked it the first time I watched it, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I've gained even more appreciation for every time I've seen it since then. Like, I thought it was good when I first watched it, and I'd like, much better than his first movie, but then I've fallen way more in love with it as time goes on. I even fall more in love with Halloween Ends as time goes on. But I'm trying to think of one. Black Christmas, I always enjoyed it the first time I watched it, but I find that the more I watch it, the creepier it feels to me. So it's like it's grown in effectiveness the more that I've revisited it. And I know I'm not really answering your question the right way, Aaron, but we're running low on time. And since I couldn't think of one right away, I just figured I could answer in some sort of capacity. Davey, have you watched Yellow Jackets? Cool show. It's Lord of the Flies meets Lost. I have not seen Yellow Jackets, but as per my live stream from last night, I do think Sophie Thatcher is a really good actress and quite lovely. I will say that. Okay, what else do we got here? I have time for a few more. Gosh, we have 29 people kicking it with us. Should I continue even longer? I don't know. My voice is just tired, guys. I think I just need a break at some point. Let's see here. Favorite Adam Sandler film? Mine is Billy Madison, says Zach. Same. Billy Madison, I think, is the best Adam Sandler film. And then I would say Happy Gilmore is a very close second. Yes, go Sports. Bears ended up winning 31-27. Wow. The Bears outscored the Packers 28-6 in the second half to win by 4 points. That is an amazing turnaround. 25 points in the fourth quarter. That is going to go down as very classic there, this playoff game. That's absurd. That is absurd. Caleb Williams was 50% passing, yet they scored 25 points in the fourth quarter. Holy cow. Davey, who would be more popular today if they were still alive, Chris Farley or John Candy? I got Candy. I think John Candy, I think he would have done some serious stuff. I think John Candy could have gotten like an Academy Award having a more dramatic turn with a character at some point in his career, because I think he had the chops. Obviously, we see it in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, even in Uncle Buck. And John Candy is absolutely hilarious. It's a shame we didn't have him around longer than we did, but what an impressive body of work that he left behind, for sure. Let's see if I can get another one going here. Some things never change, brother. Are you ready for Scream 7? Gerald is. Yeah, dude, I am so pumped. I really hope they take some big swings in Scream 7. I do want to see that cliffhanger ending. I don't want to get like everything answered. I don't want to have it to be the same Scooby-Doo type ending that we've gotten every other time. I want to see some sort of twist, especially if they're already planning Scream 8, which it sounds like they are. Doesn't sound, I haven't seen like an official date or anything like that, but I've heard that it's in pre-production. So that's the word on the street. So yeah, I'm hoping that Kevin Williamson brings some really exciting change, or at least a few changes that makes it feel new enough for all of us longtime fans, but can maybe bring back some of the people that got bored of the franchise, and then maybe prove the people like our lovely friend Frank Riker over at the Slaughterland Movie Podcast and Frankly Speaking, You know, he's not a big Scream fan, kind of famously not a big Scream fan. But I asked him straight up on a stream when he jumped in the chat. I was like, you know, Frank, what could they do? And he's like, just do something different and surprise me. So there's potential there for Scream 7 to rock and roll here. Just doing something different on the channel for 2026. Oh, I must have missed something there. Feel free to let me know what I might have missed. Oh, different things in the channel. Okay. Doing more gaming and other genres. Nice. Yeah, it's fun to mix it up. Let's see what else we got. No worries, David. Hope you're doing well. Great to see you. Oh yeah, John Cusack was in Stand By Me. He was. I don't know. He must be acting in something still. He's very, you know, he's one of those celebrities that likes to open up his mouth about how he feels on politics quite a bit. So he does that. Let's see what else we got going. What's up, Koi? Mr. Happy Sanjo, one of our newest channel members. Koi, we are just wrapping up the stream. My voice is pretty worn out from doing a whole bunch of talking the last few days. So I'm just about to head out, but feel free to scrub on back, or if you want to get in one last minute question, you know, you can ask now. Aaron, I'm not sure. You had asked about like movies that I didn't like, but liked once I watched them more than once. And I kind of answered that question in my own sort of Davey Deathray way. Is this a hot take? Corey Haim was far better than Corey Feldman, and his performance in Lucas was amazing back in the day. I don't know if that's a hot take. I think like between the two of them, they were always really good together and very charming together, right? I think I might pick Feldman between the two, just because I can think of movies where Corey Haim wasn't in them and Feldman was really good. But like Corey Haim, I saw Lucas as a kid, don't remember it too much. I just recently watched Silver Bullet, which I thought was pretty good. Corey Haim didn't impress me too much. Yeah, I think he became a better actor after Silver Bullet. He's a little like Mac and Me, a little TV movie in Silver Bullet. All right, let's see here. Yeah, I thought I did I get to it? I think I got to it. Okay, so there we go. Excellent, Aaron. I'm glad I could satisfy that just a touch. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap things up. Let me just scroll here. Favorite action movie? I really love, does RoboCop count? I think it does. I'm going to say RoboCop. RoboCop is a movie that ages extremely well. It gets better every single time I see it. I've loved it since I was a little kid. I think I saw it on VHS right when it came out. I was probably like 6 or 7 years old or something like that, on, you know, seeing it on VHS. Yeah, I love RoboCop. I'm gonna go with that one. Predator's really good too. Lethal Weapon's really good. Die Hard's great. You know, I don't like, I'm not as well versed with that, you know, genre of films, but there's certainly some that I really enjoy. Yeah, abso-fruitly. Hell yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, bud. Appreciate you. Okay, guys, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this one. This has been a lot of fun. I love doing Ask Me Anythings, and I never, like, it's funny when it comes to doing an Ask Me Anything, I'm like, I don't ever want to be like, guys, I'm just gonna do an Ask Me Anything because that's what I want. But I have found, and it's very sweet of you guys and really cool of you guys, that usually when I do a poll of like what kind of stream do you want to see, if I include something like an Ask Me Anything, you guys usually gravitate towards that, or at least that's what ends up winning the poll. So I really do appreciate that you guys, you know, just want to have that kind of, it's not an interview process, but just like a let's get to know each other even better kind of process, or you know, kind of live stream. So super fun. You guys are all beautiful. Thank you so much for kicking it with me. We're going to do another stream tomorrow. We did not reach our super chat goal, which ends in a little less than a half hour. We did not reach that, but that's totally okay. It's not required. It's just something I always want to do for fun, just as a friendly little reminder. But I do want to just highlight, Ray became a channel member on her other account. Nanette is celebrating 5 months of channel membership. Thank you so much, Nanette. Erica dropped a $2 super chat. Tia dropped a $5 super chat. And then we had Antonis dropping a $5 as well. Thank you so much. And Sean dropping a $10 Canadians. So thank you guys so very much, everyone that dropped a little love, everyone that asked a question, hung out, whatever. Really do appreciate you guys for kicking it here. Let's see here. What else do we got? Dude, of course, man. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome. You know what? Like, even if you think you have some wild opinion on a movie or whatever, like, that's always welcome, as well. As long as we're respectful about disagreeing on inconsequential, our disagreements about art don't need to separate us. So I feel like, yes, of course, everyone's welcome. Let's say how we feel about these movies and get wild with it. You do get a potpourri of topics. It is fun. I know, like, asking me if I'm a great cook, like, that's a good one. I like that one. Of course, anyone can send me a message. Like, I'm on Discord. If you find me on Discord, you can send me a message. Absolutely, yeah. What's happening, Jamie, our original Death Squad mod and YouTube channel member? I am just heading out now, Jamie. I'm going to give my voice a little rest, but you can always scrub on back, or you can ask me a question really quick as I have a sip of water. Tia, what's going on? Do we have a love connection? No worries, Jamie. I can't stay either because my throat is so sore. Thank you so much for leaving a like. Guys, if you're hanging out and you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and do that. I haven't been good about reminding you myself, but I'm sure the mods, I know Erica's been putting it in there. So I totally get it. I'm beat to shit, Jamie. I've had like 10 hours of sleep in the last 2 nights or something, but I'm feeling great. So I know my body's tired, but we are rocking and rolling. All right, guys, that is going to be it. Thank you so much to all the Patreon members, the YouTube channel members, our amazing group of Death Squad mods. You guys are absolutely amazing. This has been really fun doing an Ask Me Anything with you guys. And I'm not going to say what it is, but there is going to be a stream tomorrow. So just keep an eye out for it. You'll know it when you see it. And I hope we see you there to hang on out. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Look at that. Sean is dropping a $5 Canadian, says, I didn't know it was in Canadian dollars. Well, do you live in Canada, Sean? I think that's why it would pick that. The CA before, I'm pretty sure that's what that means, right? I think it just means that, I think it just automatically does that. It lets me know which country the money is coming from, essentially. Because we've had people, give super chats and they're out in Europe or, across the globe somewhere. So yeah, thank you so very much for another $5 in Canada. There we go. Just like sweet baby Ray. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up. Really do appreciate you getting that $5 in at the very end there, Sean. You are amazing. Hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. That is going to do it for this one, but you know how it goes here. Until next time, I've been and will continue being Davey Deathray. Take care.